Riley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Monday, May 16th. So the moon is in Scorpio. We are having our full moon total lunar eclipse in Scorpio at 12:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So as I've kind of been saying, there are a lot of us in the world that are experiencing this on the very ending of the day, Sunday, May 15th. Please listen to yesterday's forecast if you haven't already. There is a large portion of us in the world experiencing this potent energy very early on Monday, May 16th, in the wee hours of this day. Now, let me just say, this direct potent energy is taking place at 25 degrees in Scorpio. If you haven't listened to the astro forecast for this, please do so. If you haven't downloaded your moon guide, please do so. If you haven't listened to the ascension forecast for the week, please do so. But here's the thing. We have 6 different aspects taking place today. 6 of them involve the moon. And then we have the moon moving out of Scorpio energy, going void of course around 5:30 a.m. and locking into Sagittarian energy around 8 a.m. again, Eastern Standard Time. So what we know about this is that let's just remove the fact that we are in a full moon, that we are in a super blood moon, that we are in an eclipse portal. Let's just remove that and just look if the moon was in Scorpio moving into Sag. Scorpio is the darkness. It is the shadow self. It's where the transformation needs to take place in our psyche, in our heart space, in our soul space before we're going to see those changes take place in our physical circumstances. We are in Taurus energy. Okay, Taurus season is about our physical circumstances, where it is that we need to create new foundations of self-love, self-respect, self-worth, self-value. Why? Because that relationship with ourselves mirrors to us all the other relationships that we have in our life. And of course, relationships have been popping off lately. And it affects our money matters and the value that we see within ourselves. Regardless, we're in this Taurus and Scorpio axis right now. We've been in this life lesson since November 2021. We will be in this life lesson until October of 2023, where the nodes of the moon are going to teach us a very hard lesson in give and take, a very hard lesson in death, rebirth, transformation, and renewal. And what we need to be focused on is what it is that we need to surrender to and let go of as far as physical attachments are concerned in order for us to rebuild, recreate, reinvent, rebrand our realities more in alignment with our soul self instead of our egoic self. So this is a lot. This is a lot of energy. Anytime that the moon is moving out of Scorpio, moving into Sag, Sag is the light at the end of the tunnel. Sag energy gives us fire back. That Scorpio energy is a lot of emotion, a lot of cleansing, a lot of transformation. Fire energy initiates something new, brings the positivity back, brings the optimism back. Why? Because there's finally a light at the end of the tunnel. The Sag energy helps us to see the big picture, helps us to gain a vision. Many of us definitely praying for clarity at this time because we're in a state of chaos. And if you've been listening, you know that chaos is absolutely necessary in order for us to be raw and vulnerable and more open and adaptable to the changes and the transformations that are coming at us hot and heavy. Why? Because we're in eclipse season. We're at the mercy of the universe's plan to get us on the right path that we should have chosen for ourselves, that many of us failed to do. And it may feel like things are happening to you, but in fact, things are happening for you. So the fact that the moon is moving out of Scorpio and into Sag, we're definitely going to feel a lot better once the moon locks into Sag. But again, we have to keep in mind, we're still in retrograde season, we're still in eclipse season, we're still under this full moon lunar eclipse energy, which means that things are likely going to take a little bit of time to feel better. While the moon is still in Scorpio, at 12:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the moon opposing, sitting across from the sun in Taurus. This gives us our full moon total lunar eclipse. The moon in Scorpio, emotional, unconscious, our shadow, our negative, what it is that we need to be illuminated to, what is blocking us, what is sabotaging us, What are we destroying? What needs to be destroyed? What needs to be put to death in order for us to start fresh, start new, rebuild, recreate, give birth to new elements, new versions of ourselves, new relationships, new money matters? Again, I'm going to recommend that you listen to all the forecasts that I put out because I don't have enough time to go into it in this daily forecast. I think I ranted about it for at least 20 minutes in the full moon astro forecast. So please visit that to get the full picture on what the moon in Scorpio sitting across from the sun in Taurus is actually going to mean for us. It means great transformation. It means death and destruction in order for rebirth and resurrection to actually take place. It's very intense, very life-changing, very much in our face, and will feel very pressurized, very intense, very chaotic. The moon, while still in Scorpio energy, the last aspect that the moon in Scorpio will make before going void, of course, is a sextile with Pluto. Now, Pluto rules over the Scorpio energy, ruler of this full moon event, along with Mars. Sextile is a good energy. It means that we're harmonizing and we're blending. What is it that we're harmonizing and blending with? Well, the great transformer himself. If you downloaded your moon guide, you would know that Pluto was a very important aspect in a lot of the 13 different aspects that we had under this moon event. And the great transformer likes to show us the pain and the trauma and the suffering that we had to go through that was divinely scripted, not to make a victim out of us, not to put us in a state of trauma and paralysis, but to inspire us and motivate us and act as the catalyst for us to step into our power, to take control, to rewrite the narrative, to do what is right for us. This is a very powerful time, a very powerful shift. And because the moon is involved, this starts with the emotional field first, the psyche second, the soul space third, because you need those two to be in agreement before the soul is going to feel complete. You need all three of them to be in alignment in order for the body to go ahead and actually take the actions in the physical realm in order to align with the inner work that we've already done. The moon is going to go void, of course, like I said, 5:30 a.m. It's a very unstable time. On top of all this other unstable energy, just not a great time. Your sleep will likely be affected. If you're lucky enough to sleep, you're probably going to have nightmares, dream terrors. If you are awake, well, that's terrifying all in itself because the negative narrative that's going on under this full moon energy is one of obsessive, looping, not so nice thoughts and narratives. So you have an all-night battle within yourself. Now, why is this good? Well, because you have to have a breakdown before we have a breakthrough, and the breakthrough is coming. The moon, while still in Scorpio energy, is going to bump into Chiron, is going to highlight the wounds alive and well. Just a little bit of a refresh, a reminder of all of the tumultuous energy that got triggered and activated yesterday. Again, please listen to that forecast if you haven't already. But the moon then locks into Sagittarian energy, and then about an hour and a half later, the moon in Sag is going to bump into Venus in Aries in not the nicest way. But here's the thing. The moon in Sag is trying to bring us a positive outlook to the darkness that we just had to experience. The moon in Sag is trying to show us the big picture. And Venus, being the goddess of love and beauty and pleasure and worth and money, in Aries, who just wants to start fresh, who just wants to initiate, who wants a brand new, clean slate, brand new beginning to go after what it is that makes us happy, what it is that we're passionate about, what it is that we desire. The moon in Sag is definitely going to illuminate for us the bigger, greater, grander vision and picture that we need to hold very near and dear to our heart space, in our head space, because we are going to need to remind ourselves through the challenges and the obstacles that we're about to face, why it is that we need to continue to fight to push our way through these challenges and obstacles so that we can actually be happy and be in a state of happiness that we know, we want, we need, and we deserve. The moon is going to trine Jupiter. The moon trining Jupiter is also a good thing because Jupiter is about growth and improvement. He's about expansion and blessings and possibilities. He's in Aries for the first time in 12 years, trying to show us where it is that we need to reinvent ourselves, where it is we need to rebrand ourselves, start fresh, initiate something new. Use the obstacles and the challenges coming at us as meaning, as purpose, as catalyst, as inspiration and motivation to boss the hell up and fight through it in order to get to the other side, to the other end, where we know we're going to end up with what it is that we want. So the moon in Sag, which is very optimistic, very positive, trining with Jupiter, who rules over Sagittarian energy. It's a lot of fire. This is where we're cleaning up our emotions, right? Fire and water, if you apply enough fire to water, it will turn to steam, it will evaporate. And Lord Jesus knows we've been sitting in our emotions for a very long time. It's been very intense, especially with this eclipse full moon energy. And now we need to start clearing some of those emotions up. And we do that by focusing on the future so much that we get excited about what it is that we are going to fight for, so that we don't let the negative Nancys and the Debbie Downers and the challenges and the obstacles hold us back from actually getting what it is that we want, need, desire, and deserve. Now, this is at 9:34 a.m. We go all the way to 1:20 p.m. before we have another aspect, our final aspect for the day. I would tend to want to say with 6 aspects taking place that it is a quote unquote quiet day in the cosmos, but after the day that we just had, the full moon energy, the eclipse energy, the retrograde energy that we're all just still very much sitting in, I would hesitate to use the word quiet. But the last and final aspect that we have taking place early afternoon is the moon in Sagittarius, now opposite, sitting across from Mercury, who is retrograde in Gemini. So Mercury rules over the mental plane, rules over information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves. He's essentially tripping on drugs. He's unconscious. He's going through a reflective phase of reviewing things from the past. He's also in Gemini, his place of power, where dualistic, polarized choices, decisions, and paths are concerned. We have to live in extremes in order to debate the pros and cons to find a happy medium, a balanced point, a grounded point in between the two extremes that we're currently facing. Mercury, yes, retrograde, is taking us back so that we can learn from our past experiences on what it is that we will not repeat in the future. The moon in Sag is big, it's optimistic, it's renewing its faith, renewing its position. In opposition with our mental plane, our heart and our head is not on the same page. The moon in Sag is more focused on the future, while Mercury in a retrograde is more focused on the past. So we have all of these emotions coming up in us that wants us to focus on the future so that we get excited, we get passionate, that we have the desire, we have an inspiration, we have a catalyst for us to move forward, for us to make a change, for us to stay positive, for us to be confident and optimistic about what is actually possible for us. And we're sitting across from Mercury, who just wants to talk about the past, who wants to be stuck so far in the past that we're letting old negative thoughts, old situations, old memories pop up and prevent us from flying high, from reaching the vibration and frequency that the moon in Sagittarius wants us to reach, so that we can bust free of this present moment and start working on building the bridge so that we can get from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be.